This is the phoenix mind, where the fire refines, break the chains and rise to shine. Rise stronger, lead with heart, every end a brand new start. With Lisa Manzo, we transform, we ignite. This is a phoenix mind.
Hi, I'm Lisa Manzo, your host of the Phoenix Mind podcast, and today my special guest is Jennifer Grove, and I'm going to read you her bio so you can learn all about her. Jennifer is a nervous system whisperer. Ooh, sounds interesting. And venting coach. I like that because sometimes I just want to vent. Known for helping high-functioning, emotionally exhausted women soften, release, and return to the version of themselves they were always meant to be. Through breathwork, somatic release, and emotional alchemy, she guides clients out of self-abandonment into deep self-trust. Jennifer is the creator of the Soft Return Experience. Oh, I like that. And the host of Getting in the Groove. Oh, Groove, right? Grove. Sorry, Getting in the Grove podcast. Her work is a blend of science, soul, and sass, helping people stop holding it all together and start coming home to themselves. Welcome, Jennifer. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Lisa. I'm excited.
Oh, that's so good. The nervous system whisper, the venting coach. I love that because sometimes I call people up. Hey, listen, I need to vent this. That's all I need. I just need to vent this. And
Yes, there's so many people that are like, I don't know what that means, or I don't vent, or they don't even ask permission to vent. So then you're just complaining.
right. And I'll call people. Hey, listen, I don't want any advice. I just need a vent. You got a minute for me? And it's great.
Yeah.
It's more than a minute though. But
Which is fine.
it's just fine.
I mean, what's time?
And so that's how I'm really looking forward to speaking about this. But tell my audience how you got there. Take like 2 minutes and tell them how you got here.
Ooh, how did I get there? Short story, so we'll put it in like a very Cliff Note version. I was in the corporate world for a very long time and got extremely burnout. And I had a girlfriend ask me to go to a yoga class one night. And I thought, what is this? Okay, sure. So it was at our local gym.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So I went and I found myself having a lot of emotion on the mat. And I thought, this is amazing. Fast forward quite a bit, I became a yoga teacher and a Pilates teacher. And then I thought, okay, well, I am expanding. I need to expand my clients whom I'm working with because I know I have more to share. I'm learning so much in my practices and with my coaches. And I had a moment where I was at a retreat and a bunch of women all around. And they were all asked the same question, and they kept grabbing the microphone and saying, when I was younger, I couldn't speak up, or I was afraid to say something, or I had to be the nice one, all these things. And I sat there and I thought, I have no idea what they're talking about. Like, no idea. So I asked for the microphone and I was like, I'm not calling any of you a liar, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Because I was the one that had to be the strong one. I'm the one that had to speak up. I'm the one that had to do all the things. And I thought to myself, these women are going to boycott me as soon as I put this microphone down. And it was the complete opposite. As we were all walking out to dinner, they were coming up to me just saying, you were speaking exactly to me, holding in all the anger that I didn't know I could express. I'm like, yeah, that's why we have the process that we can vent and move through the emotions instead of holding them all in. And that's where we are today.
That's so interesting because I had to take gym in college. And when I say in college, like my third round of college, because I went back to become a nurse and I was going for my RN degree and the course required me to take a gym class and I took yoga class.
Really?
Yeah. And I was just like, I didn't feel that emotion that you're
Mm.
talking about. And that's just so interesting to me. And I was thinking, because I've learned a lot about myself, because that was over 10 years ago. And I'm like, I was so numb, I couldn't feel a damn thing. And this, tell me about the feeling, I'm interested in this because I never got that connection, that feeling, becoming emotional just from doing yoga. Tell me more.
So for me, it was definitely this space of I was having to be all of the things, the strong one, the smart one, the one that got everything done, the one that took care of all the stuff for everybody. And so holding into all of that and then getting on a mat and somebody telling me that I could soften and it would be okay. Oh, what? That just opened up a whole floodgate for me.
That's so interesting. Wow. And you talk about I've heard you say growing up believing I calm meant quiet and control meant safety.
Hmm.
And what does it mean to you now? Because I'm sure it's completely changed.
Calm meant quiet. It, calm can mean so many things now. We have this plethora of emotions that we don't actually express because society says we're not allowed to. So now calm can truly mean I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to think about that. It could also mean I'm okay, but it could also mean I'm kind of pissed off right now.
The calm before the storm.
Exactly. So it just depends now as I've worked through so much for myself and worked with so many clients, and each one of us, we have our own set of emotions and how we move through them. So calm for me can mean so many different things. Calm for somebody else can mean so many different things. It's the root of what's happening in the body and what we're holding on to that we're really afraid to let go of.
So was your calmness connected to emotional suppression? Because
Yes.
I know personally as a child, I was always told my feelings were wrong because I was a crier. I was an emotional.
Oh,
I'm still a crier. I'm emotional. I'll cry at the drop of the hat. And you'll see me on some of my episodes. I'll tear up and, we just keep going. I'm like, okay, this is just a release. And
yeah.
emotional suppression, let's talk about that. Mine was suppressed because I was told my feelings weren't wrong because my mother had this really emotional kid and she's not that way. And she didn't know what to do with me.
Ah, yeah. For me, it was more quiet because you're not supposed to be here.
What do
You're
you mean
not
you're not
supposed to
supposed to
be
be here?
seen. You're
Seen
not
and
supposed
heard.
to be heard. You know, Grew up in a space and time where you're supposed to be quiet, just a fly on the wall. You don't have an opinion. And my parents truly really didn't know how to handle that a lot of the times because I did have a voice. I wasn't the fly on the wall. Now my brother and my sister totally different.
Well, we each have even though you have the same parents, you each grow up with a different set of parents.
You do. You
So,
really do.
right. So my parents are one person when my brother's 1 years old, and then when I'm gone 1 year old, because there's a space difference between our birth, right? There's an age difference. They're
Mhm.
different people because they've evolved by the time they got to me because I'm younger. So I grew up with a different I two different parents than they did, even though we grew up in the same family.
Yeah, it's so true.
I heard that for the first time on a podcast, and I was like, wow, that's so true. And it just because I wasn't the same parent to my son as I was to my daughter because she was older and
Hmm.
and and they just came along at different times and it's just so interesting. Let's talk about this you wrote to me and you said I wore low maintenance like a badge of honor, thinking needing less made me more lovable. How did that
Mm.
work out for you?
Oh, it did not.
So what's the
It did
reality?
not work out well.
What's the reality of it?
The reality is that you're lying to yourself, like you're not taking care of yourself. And this is what I tell so many of my clients. You honestly are the most important person in your own life. Everyone else comes secondary, even your children, your spouse. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't show other people how to take care of you or how to take care of themselves. Like you're showing everyone how to take care of a human being.
Yeah.
So we are truly our most important person. And I think that, always trying to be low maintenance and get along with everyone or, go with the flow, even when you didn't want to, didn't actually make for an authentic relationship of any sort, whether it's friendship, romantic, parental, sibling. It's because you're denying who you truly are. And who you truly are is to shine, to be the bold person, to be the quiet person when you want to be quiet. It's okay to just be who you are and not try to fit into a box, which society really tries to fit us into so many different labels.
Yes, absolutely. I've never fit in the box. And I know this even as a young child, I marched to the beat of my own drummer. And you talk to people that know me, I just march to my own drummer, and it's just so interesting to know that I've never fit in that box. And I used to try to fit in the box. I used to
How'd that work
really
out?
not so good. And
Right?
and because that creates resentment,
Mm.
and I just wanted to be me. And I have people say, "Hey, why don't you put makeup on? Why don't you do this? And why don't you do that?" And I'm like, well, that's not who I am. I've never been that person. Why do you want to change me? Just love me the way I am. That's
Yeah,
how I feel. So,
because
go ahead.
you're lovable just the way you are.
I am.
Isn't
So
that a beautiful thing? Doesn't that feel good?
it does feel good. So how did you know what was a turning point for you when you realized that low maintenance wasn't serving you? Did something specific happen, or did you have an aha moment?
I think I had more of an aha moment than something so like profound or pivotal. Um, because everything just kept taking place over and over again in whatever scenario I was in. Nothing was changing. And I was starting to feel like I was being taken for granted. I was starting to feel that resentment, right? That I'm not good enough. And why is it that I feel that way? And I can look at the outside of things. We can always find something to create the excuse or blame of why a situation is happening. But if we can take just that moment to step back and say, what is it about me that keeps creating this, whatever this is, whatever scenario you want to bring up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, well, I'm doing the same thing. I'm I'm fitting in, and that's not making me happy. So what if I stop trying to fit in? And it becomes liberating, honestly. You feel this release. You may mourn some of the things that have been taken place that's no longer going to be there for you. But it feels so liberating because now you have all of these doors that are opening for you because of you, not because of something you're trying to be.
I love that. That's so cool. And so with the low maintenance, as we shall say, did that lead to people think that you were weak? Because you wrote softness is not weakness. So because you were low maintenance, did people think you were soft and weak? Do those connect to each other?
They do in a way. I think the weakness being she'll just get over it. She'll just
Mhm.
move on. She'll just let me do whatever, right? That would happen in my career. That would happen in my relationships. That would even happen just in the grocery store, where it's like, why do people feel like I'm oblivious? Why do I feel like no one can see me? You just walked right in front of me. Hello? But we also have this very interesting. I had a client actually say this to me the other day. She said, I guess she wanted to work through something. And she said, I guess I just don't want conflict. Like I'm not the type of person that likes conflict. And I said, I love that for you. But I want to let you know you're not special with that. No one likes conflict. Even people that say, "Oh, I'm fine with conflict." No, they don't like conflict. No one does. Because what if conflict doesn't work in your favor?
Hmm.
We have been just again put into these boxes in society that if we create conflict, if we argue about something, somebody's not going to like us. And our lovely little brain goes, "Oh my God, that means that I'm going to be ostracized. No one's going to be around me. I'm going to lose everything that I've ever had. I'm going to die." Like our brain just goes into this spiral. It's
Panic
like,
mode.
no, 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 come back. We're going to be okay. There are billions of people in this world. We can find another friend.
Yeah, I feel that. And then, I find it interesting when people mistake kindness for weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens a lot. And then when you stand your ground and set your boundaries, they're like do a double take and like, just because I'm kind doesn't mean I'm weak.
Yes. Yes. And I love that you brought up boundaries because they're amazing. And for most of society, even saying the word boundary makes people cringe. It's a negative connotation. You're setting a boundary. A boundary for what? Well, a boundary to protect myself, not only me, but to protect you as well. So I don't do something that upsets you or vice versa. So boundaries are so beautiful, but because we don't actually utilize boundaries, when we do set a boundary, the world implodes. People get upset because you've set a boundary. And now what are they supposed to do? And
Right.
the whole dynamic of a friendship or a work relationship will shift and change because now you're starting to see how important you are in that relationship, whatever relationship it is. So if you don't value yourself enough to set that boundary, then that person doesn't value you enough either.
Right, because we teach people how to treat us and that really comes from and I've learned this recently, it really comes from how we treat ourselves. Because
Mm-hmm.
if we're not kind to ourselves and people watch how you treat yourself and then they just jump on that bandwagon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're giving everyone permission.
Yeah.
You set the precedence, but we don't look at it that way. We look at it in a way of we're definitely a pack-led society.
Oh, absolutely.
So for someone to step outside of that characteristic and take charge of their well-being in a way that is good for them, no matter what falls apart or what comes together, others are going to stand back and watch and probably not follow at least for the first few moments until somebody else says, "Okay, well, wait a minute, this is okay. Nope, nobody died. We're good. I like that boundary. Okay, I think we can get on board with the boundary." because now you've set something else in place and now we're going to create a habit from that. And
Yeah.
then maybe somebody else will start to see it.
Yes, and that's wonderful. And sometimes people do, and then sometimes you have to let people go because they can't accept the boundary.
Hmm.
You've
Yes, most
encountered that,
definitely.
right? You've encountered
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yes. Yes. And we fear of, we fear the loss. It's not so much that we fear the individual, we fear the loss of that.
So how do you feel about, is it, I've never asked this question before. So, anybody who's on a personal journey, you lose people along the way. And
Hmm.
you lose people you never ever thought you would lose, that you thought you were gonna go to the ends of the earth with them, right?
Hmm.
And it was so surprising to me. It was so surprising to me, some of the people I lost, and then some of the people that I gained. And I mean, and I say gained as they were already in my sphere, but now they just stepped up and wanted to be around me more because I've set that boundary. Did you
Hmm.
find the same thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it happens in every person's life that sets a boundary. And if that boundary is set in a sustainable way, not a way of saying, okay, I'm setting this boundary because you're mean and I'm not going to accept that anymore. That boundary is more about them and not about you. A boundary is only going to be sustainable if the boundary is about us.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to look at what is it that I need in this relationship or in life in general that's going to be okay for me, not if I set this, how are other people going to react? Or what are they going to do if I do set this boundary? If we come at it looking at it from that aspect, it will never be sustainable. And then that's where we have a lot of conflict because the people that never had the boundary will start to overstep it.
Oh yeah,
And if you
absolutely.
allow that to happen because you've set a boundary for them instead of you, then you'll let that boundary go. But if you set a boundary that is totally for you, feels good, coming from love, you'll find that there will be people that have been standing like in your sphere that are like, okay, she now gets it. I can now be a part of her world. It's like they've been waiting. They've been sitting back there waiting to see what's she going to do next? What's she going to do next? Okay, now I feel like she's good and I can be friends with her. Or I can
Yeah,
step up. I can be more in her life.
I like it. So here's another one more topic that's really interesting to me. And really, because I asked you about what you rarely get to talk about and what people rarely ask about. And you said to me, they rarely ask about the anger. They love
Mm.
the calm and the breath work and the self-care, but they skip over the rage that lives underneath it all. I wish more people would ask about that part because that's where part of the healing comes from. And repressed anger is just grief with an armor on it. So let's talk about the anger because I used to have so much anger and I've actually been able to let it go. So let's talk about how you were able to let
Ah,
your anger go and let's talk.
yes. You have to feel. That's the biggest thing. Again, we're in a society where we are so afraid to be honest. What is it I can say where no one will cancel me, right? Where everybody will still be my friend. Well, when you don't actually say what you're feeling, you're denying your body. And your body is going to fester. You're going to feel it in physical form. You're going to get a headache, a backache, whatever. You're going to not feel well because you're holding on to so much. So if you just said, you know what, yeah, I'm not happy about XYZ. Okay, why not? A lot of times what we can find is that whatever we're upset about, it's not really the thing that we're upset about. There's something else underneath that we've been suppressing for probably a very long time if we're that upset about it. And once we can get to that, then we can really say, okay, here we are. This is what's been bothering me. this is where this came from. We have, from the age of 0 to 7, we're like these walking little sponges. We take up everything. And if something happened in that time, we can feel it cellularly in our bodies. So it sits there. And if we don't actually communicate it, then we stay with it. And so years down the road, somebody does something and we get upset. Do we really get upset because they cut us off? Like the very first time you ever drove. I love this analogy. You get behind the wheel of a car. It's your first time getting a license and somebody cuts you off. Are you yelling and screaming at that person? No. You're probably thinking, oh my God, they just cut me off. Or what did I do? Now you're 10 years older and you've gotten cut off like thousands of times. This last time you are screaming because now you've associated it. Every time you got cut off, you've associated it with that feeling of anger.
Yeah.
And if you could just be like, okay, they just cut me off, whatever. It's the sensation that we have that we actually attach a meaning to. So if we can peel back and see, what is it that we're angry about? What is it that we're upset about? What is it that we're emotional about? Is it really that thing? Because if that thing was just an object or just a word or just a person, why are we attaching a sensation to that? So what is it about us that is bringing that up? And that's what I love to get down to, because I find when clients come to me and we work together, they don't bring up the anger. They I'm feeling depressed, or I'm sad about this, or no, I'm always happy. Always. I mean, we have this plethora of emotions that we run through.
Always happy is a mask for something.
Yes. So is fine, right?
Yeah.
Never agree with a woman when she says she's fine. Something is wrong.
No, you better watch out when a woman says she's fine.
Exactly. There is something not right.
That word fine, when a woman says I'm fine, she's like, "Get out of my way." Out of my path.
Exactly.
So, Jennifer, it's been wonderful talking to you. I have 2 more questions for you. The first one is, when someone wants to learn more from you, how can they do that?
They can find me all over social media at J Grove Wellness. They can also find my website, same thing, jgrovewellness.com. I love, my podcast you mentioned earlier, Gettin in the Grove. I love people to pop on there, share some insights.
Awesome. And so, and when somebody's struggling with something, what's a bit of advice you can give them to help them to keep going or get over something?
Stop, breathe, and take 90 seconds to sit with whatever emotion you have. Why? Because it truly, scientifically has been proven that it only takes 90 seconds for an emotion to float through the body. That's not to say it will not come back, but it takes 90 seconds to move through that emotion of whatever it is that you're struggling with.
Well, thank you so much for being my guest today, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Lisa. It was wonderful.
Awesome. And this has been another episode of the Phoenix Mind Podcast, and I'll see you on the next one with my next guest.
This is the Phoenix Mind, where the fire refines. Together we rise, transform our lives. So subscribe, share the flame, help a friend.